the earliest that we actually get up and running.
This is great.
All right, we're live. Would anybody like to recap last session?
Oh, God. Last session. Well, we were reminded that the Army of Shadows would reform if we rested. So we debated how to get down the 60-foot diameter well that was in front of us. We tried to shove Petrie into mallet space, but out of nowhere, Dungeon Master appeared to tell us no.
I'm just imagining the old '80s cartoon.
That's what I'm imagining too.
I was kind of imagining Harmon Quest. How like they're just kind of like going through, and then like it's just a guy in shorts with a ponytail. Just like, yeah, you do that.
Tacitus also found that the walls of this well were too slick to climb, so spider climb was not useful. We tried to better assess the depth of the hole, but we found, or Tacitus found, that there was what we thought was a dead magic zone about 200 feet down. We threw down a lot of different things. I don't remember all the stuff we threw down, but eventually Tacitus threw down a coin with light on it, which disappeared into what we thought was the anti-magic zone, but turned out just to be illusionary darkness. So we figured out how much rope we had, which was 150 feet, but it's 200 feet to the magical darkness and then an unknown amount of feet beyond that. So Tacitus used an illusionary duplicate of himself to fly down and cast Dispel Magic through that. And we saw that it was about 400 feet total to the bottom, at the bottom of which there was a stalagmite that pointed up, and it was surrounded by corpses in various states of decay. There was also a tunnel that was about 30 feet above the floor, above all the corpses on the far side of the wall. And then later on, Ivar saw that there were some small holes just above the level of the corpses that he figured is where the poison gas came from. Tacitus decided to craft a rope harness to lower Petrie down as far as we could, but that left us with just 125 feet out of the 150 feet that we had to work with because of the elaborate harness. Tacitus then took it upon himself to lower him down, often just one-handed, so he could flex with the other hand. And then after lowering him down, he climbed down and was using magic to create stone platforms initially that were emerging from the walls of the well. He later decided to turn that into a slide to make it easier for Petrie to get down. And because the platform itself was slippery and trying to walk along the walls posed a risk of slipping and falling off. So basically wound up using the same cantrip over and over to create little segments of slide for him and Petrie to go down. But this caused Petrie to be in enormous amounts of pain as he was sliding down and coming to a stop over and over again. What happened right after that? Oh, Petrie. Right. Yeah, that's right.
Went down.
Petrie almost fell off the slide, but then you wisely used lightning lore to just whip him so that he would stop his bitching, and also to catch him. Bonus was you caught him before he went over the side and pulled him back. So
sometimes necessary.
We reconsidered the wisdom of this plan and decided that it was very wise indeed. Lisa joined us to give us her expert medical opinion on Petrie's condition, which was get more rope.
Yeah.
Petrie then remembered, as in the DM appeared again, and told Petrie that he had the Death Ward spell. So Petrie remembered he had Death Ward and cast it on himself.
And then hopped.
Right. And then jumped over the side of the ramp, falling into the pile of corpses below, momentarily dying before the Death Ward brought him back, and shattering the cast that we went, or the splint we went to the trouble of making 2 sessions ago. Ivar flew down to the passage that was 30 feet above the floor. Petrie saw that there were 6 shadows that were listlessly hovering around the edges of the room, but they hadn't reacted to him. Ivar saw that too when he saw Petrie's reaction. So as Tacitus was creating more and more slides to go down, Ivar mentioned as they slid past him all of the shadows at the bottom. They came to a stop about 15 feet above Petrie, maybe 10 feet. Kolmar leapt down into the corpses to save Petrie as near as Ivar could tell, but immediately and wisely ignored Petrie and instead animated a Minotaur zombie so that he could have a pet. Although that may have been part of Kolmar's plan to save Petrie. It's hard to say. We needed something to carry Petrie, so it probably made sense. And then Kolmar immediately went looking for a sturdy corpse leg to replace Petrie's with. The shadows, maybe they sensed all the life in the room finally, or maybe they just were watching as Kolmar was hacking away at a corpse leg with a giant axe. But they decided to attack. Ivar then killed one immediately and eventually killed 4. I think the Will-o'-the-Wisp killed one, and then Tacitus may have killed the last one. We, at least Ivar, lamented the fact that there was no Elmorn here because a paladin would have made this all a trivial fight. But after the shadows were defeated, everyone was alive, but more strength had been lost. Petrie was at like 1 hit point and unable to walk anymore, so had to be carried by the zombie. The zombie piled the corpses high enough to reach the ramps Tacitus built, although they're still slippery ramps, so I'm not exactly sure how they're going to use that to get back up to the 30-foot high passage. And then a ghost appeared through the wall, sort of signaling in some way, not with words, but with gestures, that it did not want to fight. And I believe that's where we stopped. I don't think it said anything.
Yeah. Couple of other just minor tidbits. I can't remember if it was Ivar or Kolmar that noticed it. But one of you noticed that each of these corpses down on the ground also have these really precise boreholes through their skulls or heads.
Tacitus did with his illusionary duplicate.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, I noticed it too.
Yeah.
And and also just to kind of paint a picture about the corpses, they're all in various degrees of decay. None of them are fresh, but there are many that are just mummified bones. There are others that are a bit further on in the decay process, but there's hundreds, maybe even up to 1,000 or so corpses that are just littering the ground. And so you're not actually standing on the ground. You're probably several feet higher than the actual ground level because of the number of corpses down there.
Why is it? Do we have to leave now?
The darkness or something is what I remember.
Yeah, we either have a couple of minutes or another hour. We're not allowed to know for sure.
Or what?
And
this whole place will fill with darkness again.
And the shadows will probably eventually reform.
Yeah. The darkness Tacitus was able to dispel, but it's a permanent effect, so it's going to come back after a while.
What is the darkness?
It's just what's down at the bottom of this pit.
So a geographic feature of this room, there is a very large stalagmite coming through. It's not even really a stalagmite because it's so it looks like it was crafted because the sides of it are very smooth. It comes to a precise point, much like everything else in this entire place. The stone is worked to a nearly impossible degree. Like finely trained dwarven masons probably could have replicated this effect, but more than likely this is magical. But there is a strong magic tied to the stalagmite for this darkness effect. And you do notice that there are these strange proportions where everything seems to be divisible by 30 feet. Things are either 60 feet in diameter. The ground level is about 30 feet high for the stalagmite, which is even with the tunnel where Ivar is currently standing.
Now,
So
would we actually notice that is? Would we actually notice that it is some multiple of 30 feet, or would it just kind of look like things looked kind of somewhat proportional to each other?
I mean, generally, it probably wouldn't be something that sticks out to most people, but Tacitus, with his keen mind ability, and also Ivar with his supposed ability to, I would assume that Ivar is good at judging distances, being an archer. That is something the two of them would notice.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so now you have this spirit coming forth through the wall. I will bring up a picture.
Yeah, I also forgot we left all the rope behind. There was that's gone. Nobody has any rope anymore.
No, well, that's not entirely true. It was tied in on through a spell, so in an hour it's going to drop down.
Which you probably have about 20 more minutes for that. I don't understand why this is not counted as a. You know what? Let me do it like this. Maybe this would be better.
Don't do me like that. Do me like that.
Open with.
And Komar did get a leg. Eventually, he hacked it off.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how we attach it, but or if just like sewing on a dead leg is better than having the mangled one.
Could be. You got to prepare for any possibility, or just an excuse to put it on.
Well, you know, you're going to have to hack off the leg of the magic armor to get at the leg.
Yeah.
It's mangled underneath it. So, and the magic armor can't be taken off.
Yeah.
Or we could just,
smells like shit.
or I could just try to animate it and just attach it to the outside.
It's
A
the
new
third leg.
A new split that just consists of
A leg.
animated
Leg.
legs.
And yeah, but that's also another good point is another thing that you guys would have noticed, that Petrie's armor being magical in nature probably shouldn't have split open in the way that it did when it fell upon the stalagmite. So that indicates another magical property of whatever this place is.
So what's the source of light in the room right now?
My sword.
And there was a coin.
There's a
that was
coin
thrown
down there too.
Oh, like a coin with light?
Yeah. Mine from earlier. That also lasts about an hour.
And Ivar forgets that you people can't see in the dark sometimes.
Actually, I have dark vision on. I cast it whenever we first got in here, but
And
it was
Komar's the dwarf.
clearly.
I'm blind as a bat. Being human and all.
But
So does that look like a dwarf ghost, or
yes. So This ghost floats about a foot above the ground, his lower body kind of trailing off into an ephemeral mist. His shield is not on his arm, it's on his back actually, but he is holding a war hammer. And he kind of has his arms out to the sides, also holding his warhammer down in a non-threatening position, and kind of waiting until he sees how you guys react to his presence.
Hello. He's not one for much cheddar, eh?
Where'd you come from? Wait, hold on.
Yeah. Oh, you hear, and then splat comes Martha.
Hey, there you guys are.
What was I? Where was I? Where was Martha? Was he just in mallet space?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Lucky you.
only Petrie wasn't allowed in.
Only what?
Only Petrie wasn't allowed in.
Maybe we filled Mallet's base.
Yeah, it's
many
not
characters
double
there.
occupancy.
Filled with my fine, luxurious wares.
You and Elmore.
Yeah. So Ivar's just going to try to remain hidden in the tunnel above, in case this turns bad.
What's his warhammer look like?
It give me a perception check.
Oh boy. Four.
Looks like a block of stone on a stick of wood.
Okay.
You have stone cunning. Figure out more.
I want to cast Mage Hand and try to touch the spirit with Mage Hand. My spectral hand.
Okay. In what way do you touch him? I'm afraid to ask.
You hear it's like the theme from Ghost begins to play.
Do you think so low of me? I want to caress his face.
Okay. As you caress his face, you see the beard hair being stroked by an invisible force, and he says, I believe you need to buy me dinner first.
Oh, it speaks.
Finally, it just took the right movement.
Your charms are working in your favor again, I guess.
It has been a
Ghost.
while since I've seen the living, and I did not know how you might respond to me, especially after the shades had come.
What do you know of these shades?
Well, look about you. These bodies, their spirits are not at rest. Like me, we are all trapped here.
What trapped you here?
I don't know. I've actually never looked upon the creature's face.
Did
All
you
I
die
know,
here?
yes. Me and my traveling companions, we were on a crusade. We were
What
tracking.
kind of crusade?
Hold. That You wear the mark of the silver flame.
Yeah, we trying to kill lichens?
I was, brother. Me and my group were tracking lycanthropes and the were creatures of this land. And we were suddenly pulled beneath the ground into this space.
I had to tell you this, but that was all illusory.
What do you mean, illusory?
Everything up above that you were seeing was not real. Just bait to get you over the sand pits, draw you in.
No, friend. We had actually encountered lycanthropes, and we tracked them for miles upon miles.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
Regardless,
The silver flame wouldn't lie.
I'm sure they wouldn't, but they might be deceived, like you were.
no, I know what you speak of. We did see visions before this happened, but they were different. Visions of the ground sprouting hands and eyes forming in the clouds, all manner of distortion before being pulled into this realm. And now my soul is bound here, unable to escape, to become one with the silver flame.
I'd like to insight check this guy.
Yeah, there's worse things.
All right, you can do so at disadvantage since it is a ghost.
Yeah, but I've got a ghost living inside of me.
Okay, it's still a disadvantage.
And give you some insight. Oh, fuck. Come on, man. You fucked me. I got nothing. He's trustworthy, guys. It's fine.
Yeah, I told you.
It was a natural one, by the way. Under a 15, which would have been a lot better.
So, he goes on. Me and my companions, and even one of the were creatures, were pulled down into here.
Where is it?
Its body, along with mine and those of my companions, are probably somewhere amongst this grave.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
hope it's
make.
not the one. I hope it's not the one Kolmar got the leg from, because that
Yeah,
would be ironic.
Yeah, I'm hiding the leg. I was like,
It's like behind the back. The thigh, like.
It's like a big toe sticking out.
Like a big bloody stump just over your shoulder, waving around.
Where were you when you fell through?
We were heading toward the Bieshk Mountains.
Were you in the desert?
We had crossed the desert, yes.
how long ago was it?
Time is so hard to tell in this place. Being here so long, with so little change.
Are there other years, I would assume?
Petrie, give me, or, you know what, anybody that's looking at this guy can give me a history check. Petrie, you do so at advantage.
All right.
Oh, so close
Oh,
to 10.
lucky I got advantage.
Got 15.
I got a 20, not natural.
Yeah, I got 16.
Okay. So, Petrie and Ivar, you would recognize some of the style of his armor, and especially the way that the silver flame is engraved from history textbooks and museums, especially those related to the silver flame and the lycanthrope crusade. But it seems to be a style that is several hundred years out of date.
He's really old.
Or everything's coming back into fashion and he's actually really new.
He's fashion forward.
Yep.
Vintage. Ancient vintage.
He's vintage, yep. Shops at the vintage stores.
Oh, he's a
It's not
hipster.
as cool as my armor, though.
Oh, God. If he busts out a PBR, we're killing him. So what can you tell us about this place?
The first thing that I can tell you is I don't know how it is that I have escaped the fate of the other spirits that inhabit this place. Each one of them was, in a sense, lobotomized, their will taken from them to become unthinking creatures of blackness. From the shadows, I was not able to see the creature, but I saw beams of light enter into the heads of the corpses, and somehow it translated into their spiritual essence. I tried to escape, and perhaps the thing that had saved me is I do have a head injury I obtained while fighting a lycanthrope years before I had come here. It is the only thing I can explain.
You hear that, Petrie? You might be all right.
Yeah, we're gonna make it. Now, how are we gonna get this old guy out of here?
Well, he's a ghost. He can pass through walls and stuff. Just follow us.
Cool.
Where it is it that you are going?
Well, we're trying to leave.
Yeah, if there's a big like in here, we're gonna take him out.
Yeah, I guess, and that too.
No, the creature that inhabits this place is far more terrifying than any lycanthrope. This creature, from what I gather in my time here, spends much of its time sleeping, and when it is awake, it is plotting and speaking to itself. It is during the times when it sleeps that others seem to enter this domain.
Yeah, we've encountered his voice at least. He seems to like to hear himself speak.
Yes. Believe me, after being here for as long as I have, I have become quite familiar with that voice. It is refreshing being able to converse with others, let alone hear a voice that is not Zelshock's.
Well, I mean, either way, I don't know how much longer this place will be lit. We should probably move out of here. Let us get into the tunnel at least.
What is your name?
Tucker Twinsmith.
Tucker.
He is a hipster.
Do you snicker at my name?
Only outside of game.
Did you guys hear this voice like last last session.
Session before last.
Yeah.
I don't remember the voice.
It's like leave the
Were
message
you-
up
were
to
you-
me.
I don't think he was here yet.
Oh, you
Yeah,
know
you're
what?
right.
I was probably out of town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh.
but Mike did send a
Video.
video of his speech, if you will.
I did see that. I didn't actually listen to it, but I can do that.
Go take 3 minutes, or go take 3 minutes and have a listen to that. I think.
Yeah, it's definitely worthwhile. I would be using the voice changer for this guy's voice to make it more spooky, but I'm having computer problems and I don't want to push my luck. So just imagine it's got a vibrato sort of tone to it.
You could do that.
Yeah, but I won't.
My name is Tucker.
He's using the Holy Grail pedal.
I believe when we ended our last session, I was trying to climb up the Minotaur to get back up to the platform because I fell down. I'm still doing that.
Oh yes. I forgot.
Well,
about that.
the Minotaur was piling up corpses so that everybody could get back up to that platform you made.
I may have already made it back up there. I don't know.
Well, but Petrie has to get up there too, and so I remember I said something about the Minotaur doing the layup with Petrie and just throwing him up.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and we're sort of running out of time.
We don't want to linger in this room. We need to get the hell out.
Speaking of which, let's see if the lights go out yet. Lights are on still.
He's paying the power bill. Just need to rest in the tunnel, and then I can reanimate another corpse.
Now you also, Colmar, still have your boon ability to animate a corpse with 1 hit point.
Ooh.
Because I believe you used animate dead, or animate, animate dead to create the Minotaur, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah.
Oh man, that's cool, but that is hard to listen to for more than like a minute. Felt like I was at a haunted house.
That's what I was going for.
Sometimes I feel like your mind's just a haunted house.
Not far off.
And he's just trying to put our limbs into boxes.
I once broke up with a girl because she was trying to put me into a box. And little did I know, I would find myself in a box one way or another.
All right, so what are you guys doing now?
We got to get in this tunnel and just get the hell out of this room.
Have you seen any way out, or did you guys just ask that? Because I was listening to my ear getting yelled at.
There's a tunnel like 30 feet off the ground.
But has he seen what's in the tunnel?
Oh,
or
you're talking to him. Yeah, I don't know.
Have you seen any way out of this forsaken place?
None. Had I ever seen a way out, I would have taken it long ago. I am trapped here.
You are trapped here now, but you have surely scouted all of the tunnels in this place.
This place, it changes while this creature sleeps. It molds and deforms. It circles in upon itself. There's no way out that I have seen. And the only things that ever come in are brought in as I was brought in.
So is the creature more vulnerable when he sleeps or when it's awake?
I could not tell you. I would think that as it slept, it might have weakness, but with the way these things, this place changes during his sleep, it may be just as dangerous to approach him while sleeping as it would be if he were awake.
If that talking pillar was any indication, all we got to do is ask him a question about himself. He'll be distracted talking.
Well, he certainly does like to talk, but he has no problem slaying others as he speaks. He is a mad creature. I have only been able to see glimpses and fragmented pieces of him at work. It is hard to behold, but there is nothing else that I can offer. Unfortunately, it is indescribable from my experience. I don't know if this is related to whatever failed attempt that it made to try to destroy my will as it has with the other shades or what, but for some reason I am unable to clearly see much while it is in my presence, and I often try to run and hide because I do not want it to know that I am here.
Well, if you stick with us, then all bets are off because he'll know you're here.
True, but you have seemed to survive. You survived the fall, you've survived the traps, and there are many traps.
Yeah, no shit.
So perhaps by at least being close to you, I might escape with you if you were able to find a way. And after so many, many, many years here, I would risk oblivion for an opportunity to escape.
Yeah, I know a place where you'd be useful too. Can you interact with any other ghosts?
I try not to. They're simple creatures. They understand nothing except to seek out the living and destroy them. I have heard Zelshox refer to the shades as his own personal bodyguards or army. He speaks often of not being able to trust things that he has not himself destroyed and reformed to his purpose.
It sounds like he has trust issues.
He is a bizarre and paranoid creature for sure.
Is Zalshox the creature?
That is how it refers to itself.
Does the name Zalshox does that sound familiar to any like kind of going does that sound familiar to me? I guess.
I think you guys had.
He wasn't here for that.
Yeah. So.
What was determined anyway?
So. The name Zalshox was something that you vaguely remember coming across while doing your research at the Tower of the 12, but any specific information related to the name is vague or it's too much time has passed for you to accurately remember anything associated with it.
Would it have been kind of in the same annals as like Mordain the Mindweaver?
No, much more obscure.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of lore, there's a lot of stories, there's a lot of history regarding Mordain, because
Mordain pissed a lot of people off. This guy didn't.
Yeah. I mean, people talk about Mordain nowadays as some kind of boogeyman to get their kids to listen, because I mean, he's an evil magic user of some sort that studied at the Tower of the 12 with and accessed these really corrupting forces and survived multiple executions and was able to escape before he got to Dreadhold, which is Eberron's version of Alcatraz, except much more difficult. So Mordain's name is one that everybody, at least in passing, kind of knows to some degree. This thing is, it's very arcane knowledge, and the only reason that you guys even know of it is because probably, I think it was Tacitus, with his keen mind ability, recognized the name from a book, but because too much time had passed, it wasn't very clear what information was associated with the name.
I see. What is in that tunnel? And I point up.
And you look up and see Ivar waving.
Ivar, what's in there?
No, is in the tunnel. So Ivar, you basically just see another dark tunnel leading into another dark room. The tunnel goes about 60 feet, and then your dark vision kind of ends from there.
I'm gonna start forming new sort of steps. They're gonna be sort of tilted steps that are like this shape, so whenever I step down, toe hits.
Okay.
And just make it fairly gradual slope out of the wall up to the tunnel.
All right. That will take, figure, 30 feet up, 5-foot cube increments. It's only like a minute, so that's fine. So you guys see Tacitus manipulating all of this stone to create these new steps leading up to Ivar.
1 sec.
The Minotaur, by the way, at the moment, that same time, is still working to collect corpses and pile them up right under Ivar. So
The Minotaur?
the undead Minotaur, yeah.
Okay. So I'm just gonna follow Tacitus up his steps if they'll be a lot up long enough for me to do that.
Oh yeah, they go for an hour. So the main thing is getting Petrie up.
Yeah, we don't have a rope, so we just can't tie it to him and then like have him hit every step on the way.
I just look over to the ghost and say, I don't suppose you have any of your divine powers still in your ghostly form.
Divine powers.
Were you
What do you mean?
Adamant follower of this silver flame?
I have never been a user of magic and was never blessed by the silver flame to provide any of its miracles. I am a soldier.
That is unfortunate.
Well, that's no matter. I think I know what we can do. And I start like climbing back down the stairs and like I touch Petrie in a PG-13 kind of way. And
Along the cheek?
yes. And he begins to float like up from my hand.
Oh, levitate. That'll be handy.
Fly.
Or fly. That's even better. Like we knew you had that fucking spell, but you're gone.
Yeah. Ask if the ghost knows where we can take our long rest that we were definitely promised.
So I guess I did my spell slots wrong, and Mike pointed it out to me, but I was missing 2 level 4 spell slots and a level 5 spell slot.
2 level 5.
Yeah, I was missing quite a few.
Hey, look at me, I can fly. It's so much better than being dead.
Yeah. Or in mallet space for that matter.
How long does fly work?
Probably.
10 minutes.
Okay.
So we better move quickly.
It only takes but a moment to get up there if you're flying.
Well, it is unless the next room is not the way out and we have more obstacles to overcome.
Chances are there's another goddamn hole.
Maybe some body disfigurement lies in that room. You never know.
Why not both?
Yeah, actually, you probably would have heard Ivar reports into his magic stone that if his handlers can hear him, like we're trapped in this alternate dimension from some guy named Zalshox, but less body horror than the real world. So the mixed bag. I mean, Petrie's leg is mangled, but the rest of us are just a little weak.
A little, quite weak.
Have you guys not taken a long rest? Like
Nope.
in 4 sessions?
No.
Right.
Man, do you guys know that you guys haven't taken a long rest since the beginning of December? And that's like when we fell in this damn hole.
And we're definitely getting one really soon without interruption.
Well,
Yeah. There has been no long rest in the hole though, ever since we fell in.
Even my strength is down to a 10. Normally 16.
so you guys move forward in the tunnel. Now, Petrie, do you still have your sword all glowing?
In the tunnel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Okay. So the moment that you guys all enter the tunnel, suddenly there's just a wall of darkness that covers the entrance to the tunnel that you're in. Which Tacitus you recognize as your dispel effect no longer impacting the magic of the stalagmite.
Well, it came back.
And you can tell that it also gives you an idea of the strength of the darkness magic, because even Petrie's enhanced, incredibly bright, unnecessarily bright light of his sword doesn't pierce the veil. And we lost Dustin.
I know.
I blame it on the darkness.
The darkness swallowed Martha.
We lose the fly. Fly spell's gone.
I'm back. Sorry.
Whoa. We thought the darkness got you.
That if you refer to it as the darkness of no internet, then yes.
The Dark Ages.
You had to put 4 more quarters in.
Yeah.
I did. I had to give it a good kick.
That's what happens when you buy your internet from Walmart.
So before we move on, Colmar, did you actually animate another corpse with your boon?
No, I'm gonna hold off on that.
Okay.
You think there might be a pit of better bodies ahead?
Yeah, I don't want to waste it. I've surveyed this group. I don't want to waste it. These are resources.
You can get that leg active right now, though.
You never know.
All right, so you guys move forward. The light of Petrie's sword shining and providing the way. And then you come to the edge, and it's another large room. This room is probably about, well, thanks to Petrie's sword, you can see that it's about 80 feet in diameter. It has several, about 4 pillars, perfectly cylindrical and smoothly worked from floor to ceiling. There's the familiar water below. You're about 30 feet off of the ground. And you can see that the ceiling probably goes up about 40 feet. No, 30 feet. Right, because So it's the height of the room is about 60 feet in total.
And we're just kind of at a hole, like looking down and up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like one of those like rooms in like the Death Star where they have all the configurations, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And you also see some shadowy figures within the room.
Well, there goes some more.
Looking up, is it just darkness above?
No, you can see the ceiling. And there is some kind of strange shape, some protrusion from the ceiling in the center of the pillars, but you can't really see what it is from where you are.
Does it look like a solid protrusion? Does it look like it's like part of the ceiling? Does it look like it's, I don't know, does it look organic at all?
I don't think anything here has looked organic.
Yeah, so with the darkness and the dim lighting, it's hard to see for certain. You can certainly try a perception check, though, at disadvantage.
I'll take it. Oh yeah, that's a solid 9.
It's too hard to see from where you are.
I'm gonna take my dagger out and scrape the side of the wall near the tunnel, see if there's any more of that slick shit.
Yep.
Yeah, lovely.
Did we determine whether or not that slick material is flammable?
We did not know. I honestly did not think to try.
That would be really convenient if we could just end this whole thing by setting the entire plane on fire. There are some beings down there. Do they look like more of these fucking shades?
It's hard to see from your perspective. They're quite far away. Some of them seem to be beyond the pillars or hidden to some degree beyond the pillars, but you can see that there's a good number of them.
Mm-hmm.
On the ground, so there's a protrusion on top. Is there anything on the bottom that seems like it would mirror it?
Just the water. That's all you see on the ground.
Hey, Timmy, are those friends of yours? And I'll point to the shades.
No, those one second, and he disappears, and you see him reappear several times about the room, and then he comes back to you and he says, "No, those are corpses."
Are they moving?
No, I do not believe they are moving. Zalshax, I've never seen him animate a corpse. And I've never seen one here.
Well, since you can go about the room so easily, do you mind looking around for things that can spring out and harm us?
But preferably the best looking corpse, one that's in good shape.
And look for a corpse for him.
What? Why are you asking for a corpse?
I don't know.
Reasons.
I would just like to find traps without going into the danger myself. Works harder, not harder. That's what I always say.
I would also be interested in exits from this room.
So he disappears again after a few moments. He remains gone. A few moments more.
Must be some really good corpses. It's going to be tough to decide which one.
So here's the thing. Do we want to attempt to rest here in this tunnel?
I mean, I would think we'd have to deal with shades, right?
Yeah, fucking everywhere. But at least up here, we're not getting soaked in the damn water.
That is true.
Does the water look like it's going across the whole floor, or does the a portion of the floor look like it's up and out of the water.
So the light of Petrie's sword reflects off the water. So it does kind of play with some of the lighting in the room. But the water is completely flat. There's no ripples, there's no disturbances at all within the water. But as far as you can see, it seems to cover the entire floor that you can see.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ivar, since we're sort of waiting for the ghost to get back, Ivar just lays down on the ground, laid out.
Short rest.
Fucking long rest.
Is it that black water like it was in the other room?
Huh?
Is it that black water like from the other room? Like
Yeah,
you can't
it
see
looks like it. Yeah.
For all we know, there's another damn hole here
There's a hole in there.
in the water.
I'm going to send one of my will-o'-wisps. Say, hey, go find what happened to the ghost.
All right. It leaves. And then a few moments more, it returns.
Blink once if you saw the ghost. Blink twice if he is not there.
It blinks once.
Okay. Obviously good corpses, so I'm excited.
I'm gonna take another copper piece, cast light on it, and toss it out towards the middle of the room.
All right. So you hear a kerplunk, and the coin, you see it disappear beneath the surface of the water, but much like the water of the previous room, the turbidity and everything of the water prevents the light from penetrating very far, and it eventually disappears.
Seems like a safe place right here, and right here in this tunnel. Won't be very comfortable down there. Assuming it's more the damn spiked fucking floor.
When he threw the coin in there, besides it sinking and the ripples it caused, were there any movements or shadows or no kind of anything that was like kind of reacting to it?
No. Nothing reacted to it.
Well, Petrie, if you're up for, you still can fly for at least a few minutes. Perhaps you can go up and.
Where you want me to go?
Yeah, let's send a guy with one hit point.
One hit point.
In the middle of the room, all by himself, flying with a fly spell that's only going to last another moment more, and he's certainly not going to drop to his doom once it ends.
Yeah, but he's going to be lit up like a Christmas tree because of his flaming sword. So if he drops, we'll know, oh, there's danger over that way.
Let's not go that way. And then the ghost will have a friend down here.
Dustin.
Yes.
Give me an insight check. Or no, just give me a wisdom check.
Is what you're suggesting really wise right now? That's 12.
Okay.
Is it insight or just straight up wisdom?
Just straight up wisdom.
Yeah, it's 12.
Okay. That's good enough. You realize you don't need to send Petrie. You could use your mage hand to move the sword if Petrie will give it to you.
Is Petrie's sword under 5 pounds?
If it's a sword, yeah, probably. Most swords are only like 2 or 3 pounds.
I didn't know how big his sword was.
Yeah.
It should be fine. Yeah, it's only 3 pounds. We're good.
Or better yet, Tacitus, if you have another coin, or perhaps I can supply one, I could just carry that lighted coin around.
Sure.
That way, in case we drop Petrie's sword, he's not out of weapon.
Yeah, that's probably a better option for sure. Produce the coin, I shall light it.
And then I'll I'll conjure the hand, and then it grasps it, and then it moves out as far as I can, so like 30 feet.
Okay. So that's good enough. With the way that you're able to move the coin and the extension of the light, you can see the figures a little bit more clearly. Each of them seems to be impaled upon a stalagmite, and they are humanoid figures of various varying sizes, each kind of positioned in certain ways and wearing armor and wielding weapons, but each of them kind of seems frozen in place. Like they're not stones, or statues. They seem to be corpses that have been impaled, and these arms and armor placed upon them. But you each notice a peculiar thing about each of the weapons and armor, is that they have a strange purplish sheen to them. They're not normal steel or any kind of metal that you've seen.
This seems familiar to me, or any of us.
Are they vintage?
Is it how far away are one of the closest impaled corpse?
This room is 80 feet across, so probably about 20, 60, so there. So probably between 30 and 40 feet away. They're all kind of positioned around or between these 4 large columns.
Do they appear to be positioned in a pattern?
Give me an intelligence check.
Six.
Not that you can see. I mean, you can't see all of them, so no pattern really emerges. I mean, some of them are hidden probably behind the columns. Others are beyond the light of the coin and of Petrie's sword. So, because the dim light conditions beyond the 30 feet or the 40 feet kind of still make it difficult to see.
Any sign of the ghost?
Nope.
What was his name again?
Tucker Twinsmith.
Tucker.
So I'm gonna move the hand like up closer to the ceiling so I can try to get a look at what is hanging from it?
Uh,
So everybody can get a look at it.
it seems to be some kind of strange dome or irregular circle of some sort. A irregular dome. It's not like a perfect dome. It's kind of
An imperfect dome?
well. Let me kind of draw a picture of like what you see. If that's the ceiling here, kind of like.
Like a steel drum.
Okay. Does it just appear as can we tell if there are any markings on it or etchings or kind of patterns?
You can make a perception check at disadvantage. And everybody can make that check.
Good, because
Also disadvantage,
Yeah.
even with dark vision.
What if
Yeah.
you already have disadvantage? Is it double disadvantage?
Ah, fuck me, man.
Just because I'm interested in seeing what that brings up, then yeah, we'll do double disadvantage.
Okay, good.
Is that 4 dice?
Yeah, roll 4 dice and take the worst one.
I wouldn't even have to do that. I already got a 1.
Oh yeah, 1.
I got 10.
I'm still mesmerized. I'm still thinking that this ghost is like going through these corpses, really looking. I'm pretty excited.
Every time I go to take a look, Martha like moves his head in the way.
Ivar, what'd you get?
Ivar is asleep at this point.
Oh, okay.
So I think Petrie had the best with the 10.
Yeah, so you guys can't really see very clearly from where you're at. You'd need to get a bit closer.
Yeah.
So pretty much in this room, the only thing that would potentially go anywhere is the water down. There's no like tunnels along the walls anywhere or anything.
There is one across from you.
Oh, there is one across.
Yeah.
And are the stalagmites, yeah, they're coming from the ground, like from the water, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stalagmites come up from the ground. Stalactites come from the ceiling because they have to hold tight.
Like
Thanks for dropping those knowledge bombs on us. So I'm bring the hand back down. Can I reach one of the corpses with the hand? You said it was between 30 and 40 feet. That distinction is fairly important.
If you give me a concentration check, we'll see if you can push the limits of the range of your mage hand.
The rage of my mage hand?
Range. But yes, the rage too.
Just holding that coin.
He's gonna throw it at a body.
Oh, that's not good. It's a 3. I roll a 3 on the die, so my constitution isn't that great. So it'd be a 5.
Is a concentration is a constitution saving throw. You should be fairly good at that.
It's still a 9.
No. So yeah, it's just beyond your reach. Real close, but just beyond your reach. So you can see holding the coin, the hand is kind of shaking as it's trying, and you're kind of like beads of sweat are forming on your brow, and you can see a vein going off
I'm gonna use an action point.
Then yeah, all of a sudden it's just like.
Yeah, that one would have done it. So I reached the corpse.
But it's like it broke through a barrier, so it went a little harder than expected. And you punched it and like.
Yeah, the coin dings against the chest.
Meanwhile, you've like burst a blood vessel in your eye.
I'm working towards an aneurysm. I'm gonna try to see if I can, and I might probably have to drop the coin to do this, but I'll try to like have the hand do this sort of thing and like kind of keep it with 2 fingers. Try to like unlatch one of something. You know, I want to try to bring one of those purple shiny things up here for a closer inspection. So maybe the helmet. If there's a helmet, that would be the kind of the lightest thing to carry. Or if there's like a shoulder like epaulette or something.
So, as you're kind of examining these things with your mage hand, you're really realizing that all of them are kind of strapped. So you'd need to exercise some kind of dexterity with your mage hand in order to unstrap them and undo all of that stuff.
Okay. That's so. Is dexterity? If doing things with a mage hand, does that count against your dexterity or your intelligence?
Well, you wouldn't be able to hold the coin and do that. And we're starting to kind of get into almost like Ledger Domain, which is the arcane trickster ability. So, I mean, you can lift objects and you can manipulate them, but you can't necessarily do dexterous things with them. With mage hand.
I mean, but how many times has Martha removed epaulettes with a mage hand from
Charles?
From Charles, exactly. So,
I mean, with the action point that you spent, you can certainly do some of that, but not while holding the coin.
Maybe I can help out. Perhaps seeing what he's trying to do here, I can. It's outside of my range technically too, but fuck it, I'll try it. If he can do it, so could I. I'll do mold earth because if he's like on a spike, I'm gonna see if I can like tilt him upwards, put like a platform, like raise something up so he could just set the coin down on, give him some light.
I thought you were going to do another mage hand, and
no, I don't have mage
it was
hands.
just like 2 people like trying to do 2 hands and 2 like.
So you with mold earth, like the way that I interpret that spell. Actually, let me just make sure that I'm interpreting it right. Let me read it real quick.
Yeah, I need to read it here too. I might be pushing its limit.
I assume you could at least tilt a stalagmite.
Yeah, I mean, the first bullet point might fall into the category.
Could
All right,
you
so
raise the stalactite up?
So here's what you can do.
Might be able to shift it closer.
if you're willing to use an action point, you can affect the stalagmite itself, and you can get a little bit of information about the stalagmite as you're manipulating it, or you can take a portion of stone from the wall and much like an earthbender, kind of just float it as a platform over by the thing to the edge of your mold earth cantrip, and then Martha could place the coin on that, and you could just maintain concentration to hold it in place, levitating above the ground.
What was the first option again?
You can manipulate the stalagmite itself, and that might give you a little bit of information about the stalagmite.
Okay. Sure. I'll do that. Action point.
All right. So I'm going to send you an email.
So, why is the S capitalized in fighting style defense? And why is there not a C?
He just noticed it.
Because if you're going to spell, you got to spell American.
This is an American game.
Is the S capitalized in fighting style defense?
So, defense is spelled D-E-F-E-N-C-E, but he replaced the C with a capital S.
Because in America, it's spelled with an S.
Okay, that's the thing.
Yep.
Just like you guys get all the measurements and temperature and spelling wrong.
Yeah, you know, I thought that's one of the hardest things when traveling, because it's when talking about like what weather's like, and you're like, oh yeah, you know, it's like 50 or 60. But it's like, wait a minute, like I don't have that conversion down in my head, so I'm like 10, 15, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sent. And you can know that because you're sensing the stone. You're not just manipulating it.
Alrighty. Guys, this place is fucking weird.
Well, yeah.
Seems like feels like
the holes within the holes within the holes wasn't enough for you.
no, it was plenty. You didn't need to add. You didn't need to add more. We were good as is.
Yeah, but think about how much better it is now.
Now you're just consuming all holes within the body.
What do you sense test?
Oh man,
Did it
that
come out
left
of the
me a
nose?
bit lightheaded.
Damn it. I have a knack. Some people, I just get real good. I can get them, any liquid they're drinking coming out of their nose. It feels like, if I'm reading this correctly, the stone is throughout the body and is holding it in place. Did I read that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I see. So
you got the thing that I'm referencing, right?
Hmm?
You got the thing that I'm referencing.
Yeah, like one of the
Give an
rubber
example.
dolls
Yep,
with the
exactly.
thing in it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Might be moldable rock. I don't fucking know.
I see. Well, that may prove a problem when trying to peel the armor off with my undexterous hands.
Well, that's
As long as it's
so.
just
So
a
does that
hand or
mean-
something, it's fine.
Does that mean if there's like rock holding like throughout the whole body, you're saying? So does that
Yeah.
mean you can use mold earth to just break the strap by expanding the chin?
Actually,
I might be able to walk him over here.
Actually, if you could break the strap by mold earth, and you could try to catch like the helmet on the mage hand, so that it like falls on, and it could be like precariously balanced enough to like actually bring it while still maintaining grip on the coin.
I'm 100% certain that's possible. I can try.
If that's not teamwork, I don't know what is.
So, describe how you're manipulating the stone within the body to do this.
Fucking no.
Hey, this is your plan. So tell me how you envision this happening. I have an idea for me, but I don't know if this is what you're thinking.
I'm not even 100% certain I understood what they were asking for. So like, yeah, let's just do it. Whatever it is.
Yeah, Ivar suggested that while face down on the ground, not even looking up.
So say it again. What do we want to do?
So
Like have like a shaft come out from below the chin, like a point that pierces the strap and snaps it.
Or more holes. Got it. All right. Yeah. How about this? Get your little hand down there.
I move it into place.
You palm the coin, right? And then you just get a finger thumb action, just pinch around something.
I guess I'll do this.
It's like the hook perhaps is a grab onto something. I don't know. What are we trying to grab? What are we wanting to get?
So pierce the strap
Of the helmet?
of the helmet.
Okay.
Helmet falls off.
Yeah.
And the hand is underneath it in an attempt to try to catch it.
If you get your finger underneath the lid of it, so that whenever the strap is undone, you can just lift it up.
Right, and I don't know that a helmet's going to fall off just because you cut the strap on it.
Yeah.
It's like a hat.
It depends on what the disposition of the helmet is. Like if it's like kind of barely hanging on,
kind of helmet.
And you release this, it'll just kind of fall off. But if it's like
Roman centurion sort of thing, and
I mean, yeah, you don't really know.
so that's what I think. Like, there's got to be a bit where the eyes are visible, so you get your finger in there and just hook. And then the strap.
So this is probably about 40 feet away, and the only way that we really have to see, even that this thing exists, is a coin of light. So,
Sure, it's fine.
So,
It's fine. So I can perhaps manipulate the stone to where his head, is his head kind of like back, or
no, he's positioned with his legs out as if he's in a fighting stance, holding a shield and a sword.
so you're telling me the stalagmite went up through his ass? Okay.
I mean, where else are you gonna put it to mount?
Well, ask Petrie.
Yeah, through my leg.
Well, it's probably if the rock where you got that injury is similar to this rock, it's probably best that it fell out of your leg.
It didn't fall out. It's still in there.
Yeah.
No, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's still in there.
Still in
God damn, we gotta get that shit out. God
Other-
damn
And
it,
it might be growing.
son of a cocksucker. God damn it.
Because if you removed it, he would have bled out,
Yeah. Well,
and
you
it
know.
also offered at least some stability because his femur is shattered.
No, yeah, it'll only turn our ally against us at a later pivotal point. It's fine. It's no big deal. We'll just deal with it then, after a goddamn long rest. So, I'll yeah, just get your finger in there, man, and I'll unhook the strap.
My fingers are ready.
All right, good.
So that you guys know, it's kind of similar to like a Magneto helmet. So there's certainly space for Martha, you to get a ghostly finger underneath, and for Tacitus to cut the strap by piercing the skin with some of the stone within the skull. And because you used Martha, you use that action point, you can manipulate the helmet and hold it there while carrying the coin still.
Cool. So can I pull it off now?
Yeah.
Yeah, just back up, set it down, don't touch it. Yeah.
Yes. So I bring it up and then just kind of place it on the ground and take a step back from it and just kind of am looking.
You can give me 10 minutes, perhaps.
Alone.
It's a good song. Pantera. I'll pull out the pearl from my pocket and begin ritually casting Identify.
Okay. While you're doing that, why don't we use this opportunity to take a brief break?
Alrighty.
Okay.
Yeah, urination time.
How have you been, Kurt?
Okay. How about you?
Pretty good. Back.
So I'm super salty. Bloody bike got stolen last night.
Your bike got stolen?
Motorbike, yeah.
Did you say a motorbike?
Yeah.
Oh,
That sucks.
Sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
Was it insured?
Not that one. That one was my bum bike. I've been working on it for ages, like, because it's a 99. It's really old. So I've been doing it up, but it's, it's got nicked. So I still got transport. So that's there's a silver lining. That's good.
Do they think there's a chance that they'll find it, or is that one of the things where once it's gone?
It's trash. Yeah, it's gone. They suggested maybe someone taxied it, so it could be like just randomly somewhere in a street. But I took the battery out, so I don't think it starts.
Maybe they tried to hotwire it and didn't start, so they took it out of spite.
Yeah, they just picked it up. It's really light. They probably just picked it up and walked away with it. Yeah.
Should take a cue from this campaign and like install traps.
Yeah.
Traps within traps within traps.
Yeah.
Big, yeah, it's
Like,
dig out a pit right in front of it.
I was more thinking like if anybody tries to ride this and they don't know the secret to it, just a spike right up through the seat.
I'll make sure, like, I'll play Mike's recording as well as they drive you away.
Puny earthlings.
I did like how how do we get the helmet off became such a debate, such a problem.
I'm still advocating for just staying right here.
Like we need a plan to get the helmet off.
All right.
Fine point, Petrie. Fine point. Or Ivar. But really, we need to carry the one. No.
I'm an idiot. We forgot the doom variable.
And the chances for dismemberment?
Still happening.
It's constant ongoing risk for us and our group.
Surprised we did it without damaging Petrie's leg further.
Don't worry, there's still time.
Yeah. Petrie feels his individual toes begin to break.
So, Tony, I sent you an email.
I see that. Okay. What's this thing? Made out of the stone from the mountains nearby? I'm not familiar with this material.
But you at least know its name.
Okay.
And there might be others in your group that are familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Pick me.
Well, is everybody back? All right. So after the 10 minutes, I finish chanting the magic swirls through the helmet, and then goes into my my third eye, if you will. And I sit for a moment, and it's like, no magic, not enchanted or anything like that, but it does seem to be made out of pure Bayeshk.
Bayesh.
Yep, that's what my brain told me.
Are you familiar with Bayesh?
Well, there's some mountains nearby.
So you guys, I believe I told one of you, or one of you knows something about Bayashk or Bieshk. I pronounce it Bieshk. Does anybody remember?
I don't remember in character hearing anything about it other than seeing the mountains. I remember from 3rd edition.
Actually, all of you would know this part, that this is the same material that formed the metal base of the spear tip.
Ah.
The spear with the angel creature.
Ah, yes. That was partially why we were going there, is because that's where there was the guardian who could assemble it.
Olean.
And then also, Kurt, so there's a couple of you that have information. So I'm gonna re-forward this information to the pertinent parties. All right, so this is the general. And then Ivar, this one is specific to you.
Are the mountains called the same? Are they like the same spelling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least the thing in here isn't the same thing which was impaled by the spear. Well, at least I hope it wasn't.
Yeah, now that I have a moment, could I perhaps see if I can get the same feel for the stone that's in Ivar's leg as I did that's in the body? See if it's trying to do the same thing.
Sorry, hold on. My wife's calling me. 1 second.
Excuses.
Mhm.
Think we're losing the viewers at home.
Let's see. The only viewer that ever watched was on occasion Peter. And I remember being very excited when Peter was watching. It's like, oh man. It's like he's here.
I was going to join in one day, but they cut my internet because of the riots.
Well, I suppose it probably was lower on priorities.
Bastards.
You should tell Ano to just like click on this every Thursday night. He doesn't have to actually watch. He can go do other things, but we'll still have the viewer listed in the YouTube description. We can still be excited.
I mean, I thought it was kind of neat when somebody actually watched. It's like, man, people watch this.
There are a lot of D&D shows out there these days.
I know there's a lot that people watch like afterwards, but not necessarily live.
Right.
The only one I've really heard of people watching live is Critical Role.
There's Nerdarchy does one where they get viewers regularly.
How are theirs?
I only watched a couple episodes of it. They were pretty good.
You like their monthly game?
Yeah. Although they do that one on the one I remember on Twitch.
Sorry about that, guys.
But like Deborah Ann Walls making her own one with Wizards of the Coast. I don't know if that'll be. I don't know if that'll be live or not. It might be edited.
I don't know. She's got one with Geek and Sundry.
Yeah, maybe that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Who's Deborah Ann Walls?
You ever see Daredevil? The news on Netflix?
No.
How about True Blood?
No.
I got nothing for you.
Then she's an actress.
She's a person that's going to run a game.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know.
What's her name?
Deborah Ann Wall. WOLL.
Oh, she's the hot one.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was an Axe Cop.
There you go. Did we not mention her Axe Cop credit?
That would have triggered it.
That's the one that will be on her tombstone.
Playing the best fairy ever in Axe Cop.
All right. So
hearing that this thing is made of BS, Ivar would say, "Yeah, we should keep that then."
And then immediately goes right back to.
Yeah, I mean, he's not actually exhausted. So he's not asleep. He's not really asleep. It's more just he's so weak. It's just easier to just lay and not move.
Literally, his heart cannot pump his blood up to his head while he stands.
That's right. This is another example of why being one of the large races is stupid. Because what would happen if I was 3 feet taller? But we might be able to make weapons out of that sort of metal. We're still going after the Dalkir, right? The angel face creature.
Supposedly.
Yeah, so we should keep it for that.
But again, yeah, I would like to see if I can get the same sort of feel for the stone/metal that's in Petrie's leg.
Well, it's not metal.
Okay.
And I mean, as far as you can tell, the stone is identical.
What I want to know is it trying to snake its way through his fucking leg?
So it doesn't, like, as you sense it through the magic of the mold earth, it doesn't seem like it's made any kind of changes in terms of its proportions, dimensions, or shape.
Just a matter of time. Nip it in the bud.
Is it possible that when we face off against Zalshox, he's just going to start permeating Petrie's body?
Yeah, he's going to be molding my fucking body around. Like, right.
No.
Well,
most likely.
Don't worry, Petrie. If that happens, you'll bleed to death before you realize anything's happening.
Cool.
It'll be internal bleeding, but you know.
Yeah, you'll just be a big old sack of blood.
All right. Yeah. So we don't know what the fuck's going on down in that room right now.
We're slowly getting to the point where we may have to euthanize Petrie. Pillow over the face after the fly wears off.
Oh, the fly is definitely worn off by now. If it's only 10 minutes.
Does anyone have a pillow?
Yeah, to sleep on. That's right.
Is this helmet like slippery like the walls?
No.
Okay.
Did we
And
establish?
actually, with it being purple, Magneto's helmet is actually very accurate.
But
Did
with
we
a
es-
busted strap.
Right.
We establish if it's a magical or not?
It is not.
Just fashionable.
Just made out of this special material.
Will it fit on a minotaur?
You
No.
bust holes in it.
Damn.
Just bust a hole in it and put it over like one horn.
If only somebody had the shape metal cantrip.
Oh, but don't you know? No. Oh.
Can I put it on a will-o'-the-wisp?
How does that look?
Damn good. Just looks like an illuminated helmet flying around.
So, well, it falls. Will-o'-the-wisp is not very strong.
Incorporeal, even.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. We got a lantern.
So your will-o'-the-wisp pal is fairly confused.
It's true. Did you spend an action point to do what the will o' the wisp could have done?
Yeah.
I mean, it worked out because you got your snazzy helmet, but
Well, you know, I have plenty of action points, I guess, and it's haven't rested for a month, so.
So it just falls to the ground? Or does it actually sit on its head?
Well, I mean, the will-o'-the-wisp is still in the helmet just because it felt like that would be the more entertaining option.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just on the ground now, illuminated from within.
Okay. Just cast fly on the helmet.
Yeah, we have plenty of spell slots once we get that long rest. So,
So do I see? Was I able to see any of these bodies that were illuminated in this room?
You were able to see the one that they were working on pretty clearly, and
Okay.
there were a couple of others next to them.
Okay, so they look like they're in some sort of fighting position or posed in a position.
Yeah.
Okay. So they don't look haphazard, like random.
No, and definitely not limp. There's something making them rigid enough to pose.
Yep. They're standing at attention, if you will.
Yep.
Yes.
That's a long rest.
Can we tell if they've got like the brain thing, like the body?
hole.
Yeah.
What?
If they
the
got
hole in
the
the head,
yeah.
the precise
Oh.
hole, like the other room.
Give me an investigation check with disadvantage.
Check the helmet for holes.
Oh, there's definitely no holes in the helmet.
So I get double disadvantage if I try to do investigation.
We'll call it single disadvantage since it's corpse related.
Okay, good.
I got an 11.
Rolled the same on both ones. 15.
Okay. Yeah, you can see a hole just over one of the eyes.
Okay. And the bodies in the other one were just laying there. They didn't have any armor. Well, some did, some didn't, right? They were just kind of laying. They're just like limp corpses.
Yeah, they were limp corpses. I don't think any of them actually had armor. Lots of them had their flesh stripped away. They were all thrown kind of haphazard, but none of them appeared to have any items, weapons, or carrying any kind of gear.
Okay.
And are these corpses which are on the stalagmites, are they fresher than the ones in the other room?
Well, Colmar, you would know this, even from the distance that you're at. We'll say because you have a particular... your necromancy sense kind of manifests as a sense of smell.
Oh, yeah.
To a degree. So you can sniff out that these corpses are preserved to some degree.
This is some good work right here.
We don't need to be praising the enemy, yeah?
I mean, we can admire his work.
I'd rather not admire something that's probably going to try and kill us. So long rest.
I think so.
Just kind of look over at Ivar.
He's still face down.
Um,
He is at least 10 minutes into a good short rest.
So what are you guys doing to prepare for this long rest?
I mean, if it's been okayed by the group, I'm going to cast Private Sanctum. Mordenkainen's Private Sanctum.
Whoa.
I've had this shit prepared because I was waiting for some weird shit to happen.
And
You crafty bastard.
and how is that going to protect you guys?
Yeah, it'll, this guy's like trying to If he's waking up and trying to spy in on us, he can't. Can't be scryed on. Can't be teleported into. And the area will be obscured from vision from anything outside of it. So I'll just kind of like keep it through part of this tunnel. Because this tunnel is like, what, 60 feet?
Mm-hmm.
You said? We don't need the whole tunnel, so I won't make it that big.
Okay, but it doesn't prevent anything from crossing the barrier?
Not just walking through, no.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I only got one fucking thing. Then we set up watches.
Yeah, the will-o'-the-wisp don't need to rest.
I could also do alarm, actually, so I'll probably do that. So yeah, it takes them like 20 minutes, but.
Does Timmy Twinkle Toes come back?
No.
Tucker. Let's see here.
What about everybody else? Or what? How does everybody else feel about this?
I mean, much as I hate to say it, I should probably stand watch because I'm not actually exhausted and not wounded. I'm just really weak. But I can shoot arrows.
I could take first watch. Because I'm feeling the least tired of the group, or at least I feel like I could be up for a little bit.
Yeah, Petrie would just be doing and ahhing and going, "Ooh, the leg," and then just be trying to sit down.
Sorry, I missed that. My internet just.
We're gonna hack
Went
his
out.
leg off as soon as he falls asleep.
That sounds about right.
So, I mean, you could still get, like, you still spent some spell slots when we first got down here. So, I would say, like, Ivar really doesn't get that much from resting, except maybe he'd get some of his strength back, which is the problem if we fight more shadows. But what are the odds of that? So at least for like right now, it makes sense to me that all of the spellcasters should try to get it 8 hours, and Ivar should just stay awake for 8 hours. And worst case, Ivar will have the level of exhaustion you people have all had since we got down here.
So, what's everybody else say about that? Martha, Petrie, Colmar, Tacitus.
That's fine with me.
I'm thinking I should blast some spell slots, but I'm guessing I'm not going to get them all back.
Right. We should definitely assume this is not actually going to work.
That whiplash damage will prevent us from getting a full rest.
Yep, if you've taken any whiplash damage in the last 24 hours, you can't take a long rest.
I definitely have.
You definitely have. That was that whiplash spike damage.
Yeah. It was such powerful whiplash damage. It went right through your magic armor.
Who would have thought?
That is the power of the whiplash damage.
Better than adamantine. All right. So, Ivar, you're taking first watch, and then Tacitus. What are the parameters of your alarm spell?
Let's see. So I can make it. Yeah. So I can do. I might do it twice actually. On both ends of the tunnel, and hell, maybe even once in the middle of it. But take a little while. Probably during the first watch sort of thing while I'm doing this, I guess. So the first thing would be Mordenkainen's. That takes it's a 10-minute cast time, but it lasts for 24 hours. And I'll take up half the tunnel.
So wait a minute. I want to be clear about something. You're casting these all as rituals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, not Mordenkainen's.
Okay.
But alarm is.
Okay. And then, so how many ritual spells are you casting?
Ritual spells, it would be. I would be doing. I'm thinking alarm 3 times.
Okay. So that adds up to 33 minutes of casting. So over an 8-hour rest, you can have 2 hours of light work, which does not include ritual casting.
Sure, it does.
So if you want the full benefit of the long rest, you're gonna either have to. You can cast a max of 1 ritual. Everything else has to use spell slots.
I can't do that. I don't have it prepared. I have to do it ritually. So.
Okay.
This is the benefit of being a wizard with ritual spells. So you don't have to prepare them to cast them.
I mean, unless you guys want to take a 9-hour long rest.
I mean, it's 24 hours. So,
which could be interesting. That's 1 more hour of vulnerability, and I'm okay with that.
Well, I'm gonna cast Prayer of Healing.
What does that one do?
It's a level 2 spell slot. I can heal 2d8 plus spellcasting modifier to up to 6 creatures of my choice.
Okay.
So whoever needs health, roll 2d8s plus 8. No, that's all right. 2d8s plus 7. Which is meaning. I got 19 from that. Oh, yeah. But then I would plus my blessed healer. $19 plus 4 is 23. Alright, 23 hit points I got.
Isn't prayer like an area effect one?
Yeah, I heal after 6 creatures, so whatever you got, roll 2d8s and heal.
Don't you roll that?
Yeah, I do.
What'd you just roll?
But it's for each person, so each person gets 2d8s.
Yeah, but if you rolled well, I want that.
See, I would say
I got a
that
7 and a 4, so.
The ghost said that there's not that many like animated dead bodies, so it's mostly like incorporeal spirits. So I can easily keep watch on the 2 ends of the tunnel with dark vision and see if anything's coming. The concern I have is more the ones that will be coming through the walls. So why not do 1 alarm like right in the center of the group? If any spirit comes within the alarm, it wakes everybody up. because those are the ones I'm not going to be able to kick everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I could do that if that's comfortable for you.
All right. And then everybody can use Petrie's roll. So whoever needs healing, you just healed 23 hit points.
Nice.
Take it.
So what I'll do then is, I'm going to cast Mordenkainen's. The nice thing about Mordenkainen's is there's a few things I get to decide happen. What I feel would be a nice one is that the sound made within it does not penetrate through the barrier.
Okay.
So we can, be as loud as we want.
You can cut off Petrie's leg and replace it, and his screams won't reach the ears of Zelshox.
Yeah, exactly. He won't know that he had his victory. Yeah, and then we'll make it. We'll just make it look dark, like the fucking darkness from that area. So, like, if anybody's looking through the tunnel, it's just black, I guess.
Can we please take Petrie's leg? Because that would mean the prayer of healing just made the suffering last longer before he passes out.
Yeah, so no divination sensors, and nobody inside can be targeted by divination spells. No teleporting into it or out of. We'll say into. Out of is fine, I guess. And then we'll go ahead and block the planar travel just in case some weird shit happens. And so I'll spend that spell slot. It's my last 4th level, guys. I'm down to just a handful of spell slots. And then and then alarm in the middle of us, I guess. It's a let's see here. I can do an area of roughly a 20-foot cube, so I can get a decent size of this, decent chunk of this tunnel at least.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll, if anybody that's not one of us passes over the alarm space, it rings and wakes us up. Probably.
Is it going to be audible, or is it going to be a ping in your head?
I'm going to, just to be safe, put it in our heads in case some crafty son of a bitch dispels my Mordenkainen's lair thingy. Sanctum.
Make sure you include Timmy Twinkletoes so he's not tripping our alarm.
Yeah.
So you're going to include Tucker Twinsmith?
Yeah.
That guy too, yeah.
Yeah. In fact, you know what? Just before I go to cast that, I'm gonna go to the edge of the tunnel, and I don't know exactly where he's at, but wherever I saw him last, I'm gonna cast the message cantrip, just like point in that direction that I saw him last.
Mm-hmm.
If he's within 120 feet, he might hear a message. So I'll just say.
Don't you need line of sight for message though?
And no, it doesn't say. It just says you point your finger toward a creature within range and whisper a message. That's it.
And it will go around barriers.
You can cast this spell through solid objects if you're familiar with the target and know it is beyond the barrier. Yeah.
Okay.
Zelshox just got a message.
Yeah, I know. Or I just messaged
Zelshox got mail.
Or it's just some shades like, what the fuck?
Too bad his inbox is full. He didn't get it.
So what's the message?
He's been sleeping for so long. I'll just say, we're setting up camp. Are you okay? You can reply.
So there is a reply. it's just kind of a ghostly. Oh.
Alrighty. Well, sure. Why not? Whatever.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right, I'm going to bed.
We're good here.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
See you later.
It's like, okay, bye. I was like, just turn back. I don't know where the hell that guy went. But he was totally trustworthy, so of course I'll include him in the alarm.
All right. So Ivar, you're keeping first watch.
Yeah, I think I'm keeping the only watch.
Okay.
I'm just staying up.
How did the will-o'-the-wisps look? As far as other than the one that's in the helmet.
What do you mean? How did they look?
I mean, does it look like they are healthy? Do they look like they're fading? What do they look like?
They don't look like they're fading.
Okay. So I'm going to call all three of them over
Mm-hmm.
and say, I need to rest. We need to rest. We need your protection. And I'm going to cast Inflict Wounds and going to get them all three to line up, and I'm going to blast them with some necrotic energy.
Ooh, they're really thirsting up all of that energy.
So they get 11 necrotic between them.
So you see them kind of glow a bit brighter, and they form a triangle in the air, which is you understand and interpret that as they are organized and understand, and then they fly away horizontally in a triangle shape.
Chevron formation.
Yeah.
I'll have to fucking include them in the alarm too. The Minotaur can't fit in here, I'm assuming. So he's still in the fucking...
No, he's up with you guys.
Yeah, he can fit in there.
Jesus fucking
He's all
Christ.
crouched in with you.
All right, well, okay, so we got a barrier to our rear.
Yeah, you do.
You're muted, Kurt.
Yeah.
How wide is the tunnel?
Tunnel is probably about 10 foot in diameter, so probably around there. Yeah, 10 foot by 10 foot.
I just like that Tacitus is going to keep being woken up by all these creatures he forgot to put in his alarm.
All right. So, Ivar, you being the only one keeping watch, we're just going to roll one time to see what happens on that watch.
And that one roll will be the number of encounters we get.
So you do see towards at several points during this rest, several shades kind of emerging from the darkness, and you start to prepare your bow, but then they kind of wander off into the ground or sink into one of the walls, and you see this happen on the other side of the tunnel as well, but they never cross the barrier of either the private sanctum or the alarm. And this happens several times over the night, which The first couple of times is probably pretty alarming. Maybe you get used to it over the course of the night. I don't know. I don't know how Ivar rolls with that regards to stress like that.
With regard to the only creature that ever made him fear for his life, probably not too easy with it. I mean, technically, you guys are taking the risk because I could be downed in one shot. Like one hand from the side of the wall just pokes me, and
Yes, I did.
When we go back in here, it's starting to warm up.
All right. All right. So, but throughout the night, there are a number of sounds that are. Huh?
You left her in the cold, where there's cold air coming out from beneath the door.
She's fine right now.
She has no body fat to keep her warm like that.
She's got fur. So
99 problems and a kitten. It's like 50 of them.
Toughen that cat up. Suck it up, cat.
So there's a lot of disturbing noises, moans. Like there are also what sounds like almost like rocks rubbing against one another, and also at times the hall actually seems to shake, almost like an earthquake. And you guys feel this rumbling, and you also at times hear this mumbling in a sound similar to Zalshax's voice, but it's never quite clear. It's always just out of that range of understandability. And each of you has terrible, terrible nightmares, which you guys, if you are wanting, can describe. And so, Kurt, Ivar, give me a Constitution save to see if you can avoid exhaustion.
Okay. That is a 17.
All right, so you're able to avoid exhaustion. And you get the benefits of a long rest. The rest of you, you do get back your spell slots, but you only regain. Yeah, for some reason you're not feeling as rested as you would expect. So you only regain half your hit points and none of your hit dice spent. Additionally, Tacitus, Marthau, and Colmar, you guys can regain some strength back.
Yeah. 6 points, please.
No.
It should be.
Tacitus, you get 2 strength back. Marthau, you're back at full strength.
Oh, yeah.
And Colmar, you regain 1 strength.
Yeah, I don't remember. Let's see, where did I...
What about the exhaustion we had?
You do recover your exhaustion. You're no longer exhausted. Are you guys happy? You got your full rest.
Ooh, my leg hurts. Can you fix it?
No, probably not.
That leg that Kolmar took isn't getting any fresher.
I'm not worried about that.
What do we do?
So I think there's only one answer, and that's to shoot a firebolt at the wall or at the dome.
Well, before you do that, at both ends of this hallway, I've been watching shadows pass in and out. Never coming close enough to be a major threat, but enough to make me apprehensive that we were about to have a fight. So a firebolt may draw some attention. So a plan might be a good idea.
Well,
plus I assume Kolmar's going to want to at least try to reanimate one of the BS covered corpses in there, since they're filled with stone zombies. And we have like this zone of silence around us, so really, if we're going to cut off Petrie's leg, this is the best time to do it.
Well, we didn't level up in our sleep, so I haven't learned regeneration yet. So, no thank you. I need this leg, you know, for walking and, like, to keep my leg armored, obviously.
I mean, you haven't been walking in a while, so...
I live pretty well now. Ooh, my leg.
Yeah, the minute you try to put weight on it, you instantly fall over and you spasm in intense agony.
See?
Because, especially because you fell on your leg again when you fell.
Oh. Well, you know how, I don't really want to, you know how blood is power and all? Is there any way that you can, like give me some more blood?
Come to the right place, Petrie.
You just want to be bursting at the seams with blood?
Yeah, well, if we're going to take this rock out, I'm going to need more blood. So, you know, we all drank from the same flask, or whatever it was, so we should be fine, right?
He's delirious, so we're going to cut off the leg. Now's the time.
Has any sort of healing been tried to apply to the leg, or does it defy all healing?
It's not that it defies healing. It's just
according to the benevolent dungeon master. If we try and heal it with the stone still in there, it'll just heal over the stone. If we try to take the stone out and heal, it's not likely to work because it's too deep.
Yeah, you would need something equivalent to regeneration in order to mend the bone and the flesh around it, because the wound is just too critically it's too critically damaged. It's beyond normal healing methods.
I see.
Defies all magic.
No, just the magic that you have.
We could.
That's what I said.
I mean, technically, if we were really going to cut off Petrie's leg, we should have done it before the long rest, not after, to reduce his hit point total. So maybe we should just move forward
I
and
can
look for Zal shocks.
So I can fly us across the cavern. There is a door on the other side. However, I haven't seen what's in the door.
Oh, one more thing. Colmar, your Wills of the Wisp return, but each of them seems much more ragged than it did when it went out. And one of them even sort of continues to kind of twinkle and fade at times. And then as it finally gets to you, it just kind of, you see it kind of fizzle, and it dissolves into a kind of a glitter that, as it falls, dulls into like an ash, and then that just kind of vanishes.
Well, that sucks.
Yes, but also that means that they were working and may have prevented something from happening during the night.
So there's a tunnel on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
How long is the tunnel or the room?
80 feet.
All right. Well, this area happens to still be quiet, so I can teleport me and one other person across.
And I can cast fly to get some number across. I can get as many people across as we need.
Well, let's conserve our higher tiers of spells. Yeah.
I feel also banished us all out of here. Don't know where we'd end up though.
Might not.
Maybe in that tunnel over there.
We might be stuck in this place until we can find a way out.
Why don't we try the banishment thing, though?
Just roll on a D100, see what plane we'll go to.
So the other two look ragged?
They look a bit weaker than they did when they went out. I want to say that they look ragged.
Okay, not anymore. So I'm going to cast Inflict Wounds at first level. Now I only get 2. Oh, that's not a good roll. That's only 7 necrotic. But it doesn't have to. It only goes between 2 of them as opposed to 3. So.
All right, so they brighten. Still not as bright as they were before they went out, but much closer. And they also fly a bit more energetically.
Good.
So, well, if you do teleport with one other person, that would leave 3 of us.
But I can already fly.
Okay.
As long as he puts that goddamn sword out.
Oh, one more thing. Colmar, probably about 9-10 hours have passed since you animated the Minotaur. So you get 24 hours. But at 24 hours, it then becomes uncontrolled. So if you want to use that spell slot now to resume 24-hour control, you can. Or you can do it later if you want. If you have the spell slots to do it later.
As he ominously says.
I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, I'm going to wait.
Okay.
So then, if everybody can get across, and it's really just Petrie and I that are left, then I can do.
Kolmar and the zombie.
I don't know about any zombies. No, but so Tacitus can teleport and take himself and one other person, and then you can fly.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just two of us that have to get across, plus the zombie.
Well, Petrie, you and Kolmar, so then the zombie.
No, Tacitus can. So you can.
Oh,
fly.
well, yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Does anyone else feel like this is the moving the wolf, the chicken, and the feed?
Yeah.
River, yeah.
Across the river, yeah.
So let's just do that. And maybe there's a cylinder on the other side.
Perhaps I should be last, since anybody who's near me whenever I do mine is gonna get hurt.
Oh, you're using Thunderstep?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. We're in a nullified sound zone, so
How long does that spell last?
24 hours.
Oh, okay.
For 24 hours, that tunnel's gonna look black. So.
Can you turn off this one?
Sorry.
So I figure we could just let the zombie walk across.
Hey,
What's going to bother him?
if something does, then whatever. You know,
Yeah, the
better
will
it-
of the wisps.
better
The will
it
of
than
the
us.
wisp can fly. Right. Just order the zombie to walk across. In fact, why not? Why don't we order the zombie to walk across and see what happens?
Just in case it's something that's as
Right.
soon as you enter the room.
How far a walk is it?
80 feet.
Does it have to climb up to the door, or is there a door right there?
So it's another tunnel similar to this, 30 feet up from the ground,
Okay.
or at least up from the edge of the water.
Okay. Well, I'll just tell him to walk across to the other edge.
Okay. How many hit points does he have?
I don't know.
I could have healed him. He could have got another 2d8. Or was it 24 hit points? There you go.
So, where's... So he takes 6 bludgeoning or falling damage jumping into the water. And then he begins to walk across. He seems like he has much less difficulty than you would expect if the floor was covered in spikes as it was in the previous room. But everybody give me a perception check.
Should have gave him a light as he walked across.
Perception. 21.
I got a 9.
13.
16.
Kolmar, what was yours?
13.
All right.
Real-
Who got above 15?
I got a 16.
I have a 15.
All right. Enough of you guys see that. I'll just say it out loud. You see a smoke rise from where the Minotaur meets this water. And the flesh bubbles. And at some point, it seems like it's kind of, it falls and is continuing to crawl, but then it's continuing to kind of bubble and until it's falls into the liquid. It continues to bubble and dissolve away.
Got it.
It's okay.
See?
Oh no. It's dead. Again.
Knew we weren't sleeping in there.
Well,
Before we go doing any crazy plans, give me 1 second. I'm gonna like look down and see if I can use my mold earth to pull some of the ground out of this acid stuff.
So you don't have line of sight on the ground. So
Sure.
and it's 30 feet. The edge of the water is 30 feet below you. So the ground is ostensibly even below that.
Yeah. Alrighty. Not within range. Let's just do our crazy plans.
I'm glad, Colmar, that you didn't use that spell slot to.
Yeah, that makes 2 of us. Yeah.
So I'm going to wait until you two fly across. Don't ignite your sword on the other side. I don't want to fall into the acid.
all right, Petrie, let's go.
Okay. What if there's something bad over there? I fly away.
I'm gonna take a quick look. How far in did that Minotaur make it? I guess I should say.
Well, that's a good one. Halfway.
All right. Did anything shift or change in the ceiling?
No, not that you saw.
What about anybody else? Did they see it? So because like it was like a weird shape, right? But it didn't go. Did it go all the way to the outside?
No, it's just right there in the middle of the room.
And there were pillars.
Yeah, there's 4 pillars arranged in a square.
Perhaps it might be safer to go around, just in case. Got it.
That's fair.
Yeah. Already.
So I cast fly on myself and Petrie, and we both start levitating, and we both lift off. And I'm gonna try to fly when flying across. I'm gonna try to like kind of stick to the outside and make sure that I don't fly over any bodies, like or any of the stalagmites.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm flying, I'm gonna look down, and if I can see that far, I'd like to. Now I can get a better look at the patterns to see if there's any pattern that the stalagmites are in, or maybe the bodies are impaled.
Give me an investigation check.
She eating mac and cheese with chopsticks?
Investigation.
I want mac and cheese.
That's an 18.
All right. So there's no pattern that you can discern. It seems to be fairly random, but one thing that you notice is just beyond the pillar on the opposite side from the tunnel that you were coming from, which would put it hidden from view, is you see the ghost of Tucker Twinsmith staring at one of these bodies.
All right. I'm going to avoid drawing attention and just kind of continue floating, I guess, back to or sitting into and get to the tunnel.
Okay. What do you do when you get to the tunnel?
Does the tunnel look like it's as long as the other tunnel we were in?
Yeah, it looks very similar.
I'll just land and wait, and if you can see me, I'll say, I'll wave my hands.
Okay.
So then I will grip the ends of my cape and start flying across, taking the same path.
Wait, what? Petrie was with you, right? So Petrie, what were you doing?
I was just following. I'm new to this flying thing, so I'm sort of just like holding stuff as I fly along.
Okay.
Just holding onto the back of his foot.
And I definitely would have turned the sword off unless there was something scary in the tunnel.
Just Tucker Swinsmith.
Oh, is he here?
Yeah, he's just staring at a body on the opposite side of one of the pillars.
Ah. Cool. Well, yeah, the sword's off then.
Okay.
I just looked it up. Technically, the cape will also allow me to polymorph myself into a bat, in which case I would only lose 1 strength.
Mike, can you get me the salt and pepper? If I go, she'll follow me, and I'm trying to cohabitate them.
One second, guys.
No problem.
Did they hear me?
Yeah.
She's just trying to distract us, so she has us all to ourselves.
Yeah.
It was never about salt and pepper. It was about art.
See if she looks over here. Everybody wave. Everybody wave. Hey.
We're over here. We're in the computer.
We're in the computer.
We're in a hole in a hole. In the computer.
It didn't work.
Did you give him the salt and pepper?
Yeah.
Did you give a little sugar too?
Missed opportunities. All right. So Ivar is turned into a bat.
No, I'm not. I just looked it up to see how much strength I would lose. I'm going to just use the regular flying mode of the cape.
Okay. Well, interesting question. If you turn into a bat and then are exposed to light, do you polymorph back?
It doesn't say that. It's specific, I think, to the using the cape to fly normally.
So something to remember.
If you're falling a vast amount of distance, then you'll have time to transform.
All right. So you guys make it to the other side. And then that leaves Colmar and Tacitus.
Alrighty. I'll just like grab him behind the elbow and cast the spell and just teleport. We could see the tunnel, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'll just make sure I'll call across. Or they can't fucking hear me. Oh yeah, I can message. I'll message across. Don't stand on the edge of the tunnel. You'll be in our way. And hopefully they'll move.
Do you guys move?
Yeah, I would move.
Well, Petrie might not have time. But we'll see. Oh, wait, he's floating, so he's fine.
Yeah.
At least for now.
All right, there we go.
How are we going to move Petrie without the zombie? Get over here first, then we'll discuss that.
Oh, I mean, we got 10 minutes on your fly, so my teleport is instantaneous. Good thing I allowed teleportation out with my fucking Mordenkainen's. I was like, yeah, we're okay with teleport out, no teleport in. Alrighty. Yeah, so I use the spell slot here. Alrighty. No big deal. Just woke up, 2 spell slots used. It's nothing. It's fine.
Do we investigate Twinkle Tits over there?
You guys can all see him pretty clearly from the tunnel that you're at now.
He looks busy. We should leave him alone.
He looks like he's seen a ghost.
Anybody who's looking at Tucker, go ahead and give me a perception check.
16 again.
19.
$16.
Colmar, Petrie.
15.
6.
All right. So, Ivor, you win.
Petrie's just doing barrel rolls.
Oh, look at me, guys. Out.
Yeah, when the leg just flops around.
Okay, 10.
Took a little time. Yeah, he's definitely busy. It's got to be disturbing to find your own corpse.
Oh, it's there, isn't it? I start walking over towards him.
Wait, you start floating over towards him?
You can grab him. No, get back here.
Grab him by the leg, by the bad leg.
You're not going anywhere.
Oh, maybe I could animate
Actually,
it.
yeah. Actually, Ivar doesn't have the strength to grab anybody, so he's not doing that. That would be his thought.
Yep, definitely not going to allow him to go anywhere near the water or anything. Just stop. We have other methods.
Like what?
What are you gonna do? Shake him? He's a damned ghost.
No, if we animate that corpse, maybe we'll bring him along, so it'll be like 2 for 1.
Yeah.
Except that you saw what happened to the last corpse that touched the acid.
Yeah, well, now we learn, don't touch the acid, so.
It's generally a good advice. Don't touch acid.
But could we, if we did animate one of these bodies, could we get it here without it walking through the acid?
That's.
I assume the answer is no, but maybe I'm mispicturing it wrong.
How far away is he?
Probably about just on that edge between 30 and 40 feet, because all of the corpses are kind of similarly distanced from the pillars, even if they're not in any kind of discernible pattern.
All right. We'll see what happens here. I'm gonna use my mind link with it. See if I can snap him out of it.
What does mind link do?
It's my telepathy.
Right. Okay. So you're gonna connect with him telepathically.
Yeah, I guess so. So I'll speak into his mind, his ghostly mind, I guess. And tell him you can't stay here, and then I'll allow him to respond back to me. I'll keep the link open, I guess.
You hear once again that mournful moan
Oh, that's priceless.
And I saw it too. Highlighted the video right there.
Yeah, that's it. The reaction was so good.
So perhaps we should just leave him.
But he needs help. We can't get through the tunnel without getting through him.
What?
Without getting through him?
Oh, we're in the tunnel.
Yeah, he's in the tunnel, isn't he?
No.
Oh, no. He's like back out. We can now see him now that we're on the other side, but he's like in the middle of the water, standing there in the pillars.
Which is the reason people grabbed you and stopped you from going over to him.
Oh,
You were flying out over the acid.
Yeah. Generally not advisable.
Would I be able to perhaps? I don't know. It's not really within the description of the ability, but maybe. Yeah, maybe with an action point, I guess. Project perhaps Petrie's mind. Maybe he seemed to show some sort of, some bit of whatever with Petrie because of his religious iconography that he had present.
How would that work?
I head on Petrie's or hand on Petrie's head, I guess, and then I can even say into Petrie's mind, tell him, hey, I'm going to link us up. Perhaps you can get through to him.
Hasn't Tucker suffered enough? He has to be subjected to Petrie's mind.
I will do my best to hold on to my own intellect as we are linked.
All right. Go ahead and use an action point and do that.
Sure.
I'm waiting to hear what Petrie's actually thinking, his innermost thoughts as this happens.
He would have to send them himself, but but yeah. So yeah, just impart to Petrie that he seems to have caught himself in this trance because he found his body, I guess. So perhaps you can break him out of it.
And
since he
what
seems
does
to take
his body look like? Is it in the acid?
No, it's up on one of those stalagmites.
Oh.
Positioned and dressed in armor.
Okay.
So, Petrie, you're okay with this?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's better that than flying over to him, apparently.
So you put your hand upon the top of Petrie's head.
Oh, if you get any voices from demons, that's not me. Not too late.
In fact, I imagine like the palm to his forehead.
So Tacitus,
Mm-hmm.
as you form this connection, and you act as a conduit between Petrie and Tucker, you are absolutely overwhelmed. Everybody else sees Tucker suddenly in his ghostly form spasm and erupt in a ghostly flame.
Shit, my bad.
And he is transformed into something much larger and much more intimidating. And he immediately turns to Tacitus with eyes burning with infernal looking flames. Not really, because it's still silver flame. And he launches himself at the lot of you.
It wasn't me, it was him.
Additionally, so Tacitus, I need to share some things with you.
Mm-hmm.
And with Petrie.
Okay.
Oh boy.
And I think that's a good enough cliffhanger that we can call it a night.
Oh, we get to learn some old curse words, man.
Nice.
This stream of obscenities running through our minds.
So
You're not going to convince me otherwise.
what do people think?
Well,
It was good. We finally got our rest.
Feel the rest.
roughly got our rest. We got spells at least.
Yeah.
I lost a Minotaur I hardly knew. So
Our time together was so short.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was-
Yet
You do a lot
still, he
of
was the most important member of the party to Colmar.
He was the most, for a moment there, he was the most important member of the party.
And you carrying
He
Petrie.
taught us so much. Yeah.
I think we clearly actually moved even less than the prior session.
Yeah.
The prior session, we only went down and like 60 feet across, and that was it. This session,
At least it was down like a few hundred feet.
right?
We did what, 60 plus 80? Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least you didn't jump into the water thinking it was the same as last time. That would have been a
unfortunate.
bit of a shocker.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we got Marthal back. We could use his mage hand more efficiently.
Yeah.
We need to see what's below the water. We just have the hand to carry the coin through the water. Just below the surface, you know?
Not sure if it's water or acid. Just have the hands splash it onto Petrie. But it continued to be stressful, which is, I think, the point of this arc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, it still feels like, it's still entirely possible that Ivar could die in like a single round going bad.
I need. Still down fucking 4 strength. I don't like having low strength.
I mean,
Yeah, but I'm down 5 and can be one-shotted.
despite having full health.
Right.
Let's see here. Confirm.
What about is everybody still having fun with this arc?
I am.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, there's still Ivar still is not sure there is an actual way out of this plane. So he's thinking we're going to keep wandering this way until eventually we try that banishment thing.
Yeah. That's probably where Martha's at.
The one concern I have, and the one reason why I would not waste spell slots on it, is last time you tried to banish something, you just moved it to a different part of the same plane.
Yeah. So that's why I said we could end up in a different tunnel. Like,
I'm still, unfortunately, below the strength threshold for my armor.
oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's clearly Petrie is the thing that's going to slow us up, I think, in the long run.
Yeah.
He is the weakest link. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
And by the way, grabbing Petrie's leg to stop him from flying over, that was the nice plan that occurred to Ivar. The less nice plan is let him fly about 5 feet out and then stab Marthal.
And the plan in between there is lightning lore.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, you guys definitely covered a lot less ground than I expected. I thought for sure you guys were gonna get close to the end of this thing. Not yet.
See, you underestimated our terror.
And this was with rolls going in your favor, with no encounter during the long rests.
Yeah.
The Will-o'-the-Wisp helping to avoid an additional encounter. But yeah, now this is a new twist. The Tacitus Petrie thing that I wasn't expecting, but I'm so happy it happened.
Yeah, whoopsie, sorry. You hope you like demons in your sleep.
It didn't have to happen.
Yeah.
You could have just let it be a nice moment between Petrie and this old guy.
I mean, it could have been if you weren't acting as a conduit.
Yeah, so what?
So?
See, I'm not. Ivar isn't even sure why we didn't just leave the ghost behind. Like, it doesn't like the ghost doesn't have information or anything.
That's true.
Yes, but he could be NPC fodder.
Yeah, I mean, we're collecting all of these things. Like, we just lost. Do you have any more Will-o'-the-Wisps left?
I'll have 2.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, we lost one member. We need to get one back.
Lost 2.
Yeah, yeah. So you had 4 whenever we first started, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, after meeting a ghost and knowing that he could travel, Petrie thought that he could take him back home and maybe he could fight the other ghosts at the house.
Oh,
That's
Baba.
what was going through my head, yeah. Like that
Oh,
ghost
I completely. I mean, I as a player understand. Ivar does not understand why we were poking the ghost. Oh, and now the ghost is angry. Who saw that coming?
Well, I was thinking. Well, I was like thinking about throwing a rock in it, but I thought it might be fun. Like, would a mage hand like be considered a spirit, so it'd actually interact with it and it'd be solid, or would a mage hand just go through it? I didn't know.
Maybe we'll still get a chance to find out.
I would have.
Face, so
poke it in the eye.
Ivar would have understood it more if Kolmar wanted to reanimate the dead body of Tucker.
Yeah.
In which case I was waiting to point out, some people may not like that. Some people may get angry if you reanimate their corpse in front of them. which would probably lead to a similar encounter, except it would be triggered by the dissolving of his body in the acid.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if Colmar was actually going to follow through with animating it.
I didn't get that far.
Mhm.
I got interrupted. But there's still a chance after this.
Oh, sure. The body's not going anywhere. At least, not that you can see right now.
Yeah, but if we happen to destroy the fire demon ghost, then why pick that one? There's probably other ones in there that are.
There you go. Always the
Or
optimist.
maybe not in the middle of acid pools.
Yeah.
All right.
I have to go to bed.
Yep. So 2 weeks.
Yep.
Take care, everyone.
See ya.
Uh,
All right.